Hey friends, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Zach, aka Crochet Me Zaddy, and I'm a crochet content creator, and I create and design cute plushies like all the ones behind me, so you can find them all over on my store if you wanted to go find a cute pattern to do. Anyway, so today we're doing another Crochet Me Zaddy vlog, or vloggy me Zaddy, Zaddy me vloggy, Crochet me vloggy. We have to think of a name for this. In today's vlog, we are working on the Pride Chameleon, otherwise known as the Little Chameleon Buddy, which is a pattern I was talking about in one of my previous vlogs, the one about Patreon, and I just wanted to talk a bit more about the design and bring you on the process of me taking the pattern photos and doing the whole pattern testing thing and just, I don't know, showing you a bit more behind the scenes. So come along, let's have fun. First of all, let me just tell you a bit more about the design of this. Once a month, my Patreons get to vote across 4 different designs that I reveal to them as things that I want to make that month or potentially make. They'll vote for which one is their favorite, and then I'll make that as the pattern of the month, and here we are. That's why we resulted in the Pride Chameleon. So the reasons behind me wanting to make this little Pride Chameleon is because I wanted to create an animal that I thought would be like an adaptable animal or could change its colors to suit different pride flags or something like that. And what came to mind was an animal that changes colors, hence the chameleon. But I didn't want to just like have a chameleon and then just literally change its like skin colors to the different pride flags. I was like, I want to make it have like almost an accessory that changes colors instead. Hence the pride sweater. So the pride sweater is an accessory that will be built into the pattern, but will also be available to one of my other Patreon tiers where they have access to all my accessories across all my patterns. The pride sweater itself was actually based off of this one here, which is the little love sweater, I guess is what you call it, from my Little Bear Buddy pattern, but it has been adapted so it can fit like all the different pride flag stripes depending on what stripes there are or like the size of stripes, etc, etc. So that is something I'm very excited to include in the pattern and excited to get out to all of you guys. But let me tell you a bit more about the design in general. The body itself, I like to keep all my patterns in the same kind of buddy shape. So you notice that like the majority of them have this kind of like wide hips, chubby legs, cute little arms, and then the animal head and other extra parts to those animals that make it those animals. The reason why I do that is because I like having a cohesive look across all my designs, and it's more that like when people are wanting to search for a particular animal, they can find the animal, they can see my kind of designs, and they'll be like, oh my god, I want a raccoon in Zach's style, or I want the deer in Zach's style. So then they can just look across my library and then pick and choose what kind of animals they want, and it feels like they're all part of the same family. You feel? So with designing the chameleon, I was like, cool, let's do the classic buddy shape. So this is my larger buddy body. I do have smaller ones out there, but this is the most common one. And then I needed to figure out what kind of head shape would suit a chameleon. When I was trying to figure this out, I was like, what kind of head shape does a chameleon have? Like what kind of features makes it distinct to being a chameleon? And it was just like, looking across different pictures on Google, I was like, okay, chameleons kind of have a very rigid face, they're very detailed on the face, and I was like, how do you translate that into plush amigurumi? And so I was thinking about that for like quite some time, and I was like, okay, I think the biggest things I could really pull out of these like different features of a chameleon that I really want to include to make it still kind of cartoony but still chameleon was the big eyes, a kind of larger jaw. I know it's not like too apparent, but this is what this little lip is. And then also like kind of like a little point on the head. That was like the hardest thing to make. And I was like, okay, if I have those as my main features, I think I can do this. I did originally want to actually include like a little eyebrow, like almost like a stitch on ridge above both of the eyebrows, but once I got to this point, I was like, I don't think I need it, this looks cute enough. So when I was working on the pattern, I was like, okay, cool, I want to make it this kind of cartoon style. And one of the biggest inspirations for how I actually shaped the head, so starting from like a top down rather than like a snout inwards method like I normally do, was because I found Pascal the chameleon from Rapunzel, and I was like, that is the kind of cartoon that I want to aspire to have as part of my pattern. So when I started that, I was like, okay, let's start with the point on the head, and this is what I originally made, and it's just huge. Like, this looks insane. I was like, okay, this is in the right direction, but this is not what I want. I want like a smaller spike. So I went back to the drawing board and came up with this little head shape here. And I was like, okay, that is much more like what I was looking for. And so once I did that, once I got down to about where the jaw was, I was like, okay, chameleons seem to have like a bit of like a larger bottom jaw, and I was like, okay, how am I gonna do this? So I did some kind of fun technique in here with like some front loop and back loop action, and that's how I ended up making this kind of like bottom lip that sticks up. So it's meant to be looking like it's like You see what I'm doing? That's what it's looking like. So I've tried some fun techniques in there that are now included in the pattern, and I'm very happy with how this turned out. So it looks very stupid. And then when it came to the eyes, I already knew. I was like, I want to make them big and bulging, and that means the eyes have to be like attached onto the piece afterwards. So what I've done is I created 2 little eye pieces, and you actually just like attach the safety eye to that. Very easy, and then you just like sew it on. So it's like almost like an extra layer out. This looks like a little alien when I do it like that, but you see what I'm doing? You see what's happened there? Yeah. And then last but not least was the little tongue here. This was actually a feature that I was like half considering. I was like in my mind, I'm pretty sure it's chameleons. Maybe it's other lizards. Who cares? This is what's happening with this chameleon now. But they're like known for like licking their eyes. Is that a thing? I felt like this was a fact. And so I was like, oh yeah, chameleons lick their eyes, which I do need to fact check. And so I was like, okay, I have to include like a little tongue. And so when I was doing this, I actually went for like a longer tongue that was like dangling down, and I was like, that looks scary. I was like, this isn't like the fun little chameleon that I wanted. So I shrunk it down to this little tongue, and once I put it on there with the eyes, I was like, this is perfect. This is the perfect little amount of like derp giant eyes, little chameleon thing that I've got. So in my head, this little chameleon is perfectly like, I'm pretty sure there used to be like a famous dog on Instagram that was like this, where it had like big bulging eyes and like a little tongue sticking out permanently. Do people know what I'm talking about? If you know what I'm talking about, let me know what that dog was called below. Anyway, and then last but not least was the tail. With trying to think of the tail, I was like, okay, originally I wanted to do a tail that was like sticking out and went around like this and was like gonna help with the balance. And when I made that, I was like, this looks terrible. I was like, this is not how this little buddy chameleon looks like. I was going like too much into the accuracy of what a chameleon should look like versus what my cartoon version of a chameleon would look like. So what I did was I actually, like, if you can imagine, this is where it was originally cut off and like shaped down there. I extended that out a bit, attached it to the bottom then, and then just like flipped it up like I do on my little squirrel buddy pattern. So the way that it's all attached and everything is very much inspired by the squirrel buddy, but in its own chameleon buddy way. So you can see like the curl is a bit tighter, it's a little bit smaller as a tail, it's still just as cute. So that's the design. I'm very, very happy with how it's all turned out. I have now created all the pieces for the featured design, which is the one that will be going in the actual pattern photos, pattern design photos, everything like that. So I'm actually about to go take those photos now and sew that piece all together. So I'm gonna bring you all on that journey, but let me show you what I've actually made for that one. What I wanted to do was actually create like the classic pride flag as the feature one in the pattern, because I feel like that makes sense. Like if you're doing a pride pattern, you should probably have the classic rainbow as the main feature. So here is the body of that little chameleon buddy before it's all been sewn together. I'll put the head on just so you see what it looks like. And I'm already like obsessed with this. Like this reminds me of like classic hippy dippy tie-dye colors. Like look at that. That's so cute. So I've got that, I've got the arms, I've got the tail, got the eyes. I'm all ready to sew it all together. I just need to take pictures, write out the pattern, and then get it out for testing. So let's go do that. So you might have thought that I might have like a really cool, fun, expensive setup, but literally it's just like me at this table and like the natural light from behind. So this is literally all I do for my pattern photos, and it works for me. Like natural light is your best friend, so don't forget that. What I do is I have everything laid out, and what I do is I just take some of the process photos that I need to take process photos of. So like here you can see that like the tail isn't actually finished. So I've actually got one of the finished tails here and then one of the ones that I do need to sew closed. But because I want to show people what I want to do here, I need to show the before and after. Get what I mean? Anyway, so all I do is I make sure I've got a clear space and my phone camera, and I literally like sit here and I take photos from above. And that's all I do. That's my setup. Not really that exciting, but I thought I'd just show you what it is in case you thought I had like a big studio or something. I don't, it's just me and my dining room table, so let's do it. Now that I've done like any photos that I need to show any like special techniques and anything like that, what I do is I actually like build my Buddy or whatever pattern I'm working on together, and then I take some photos of what it looks like when it's all pinned together. I think it's just good that I start that way just so I can make sure I've got all my pieces and everything is just ready to go, ready to be sewn. So let's just build my little chameleon and see what it looks like before it's all put together. So you get the idea. It's all pinned together. It's looking right. I mean, the tail I'm not gonna kill right now because I need to do that when I'm actually like sewing it all together. Looking good, looking cute, looking spunky and funky. Yeah. Okay, so let's take more photos and just get sewing together. Sorry, also you can probably hear the train outside. Now this is the fun part because all I need to do is just like sew pieces together and, I don't know, put on a podcast or something and just chill out and take photos as I slowly sew it together. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking is that, oh my god, why doesn't he just use like those ummy sticks that like hold the pieces together? And sometimes I do, but also sometimes my stitches are way too tight to even like stuff like the ummy sticks into. Sometimes I have before and they just leave like giant holes in my plushies because my stitches are so tight that it has to like widen out stitches just to put the ummy sticks in. And then sometimes I stuff them too tight, which is actually a good thing, that then the ummy sticks can't even like make it all the way through. So either I have too tight of stitches or I have too much stuffing. But the thing is, my dolls look really good. And like, they look like good quality, they're well shaped, they're well stitched, and so maybe army sticks are just not a thing for me, so who knows. But like, I've survived without them before and I will continue surviving without them now, so that's why I don't use them. But I mean, if you need help holding like pieces together, like a head piece onto a body piece like I am sewing together right now, then definitely go find some, but they just don't work for me, I guess. And that's that. So I just finished attaching the head to the body. The plush yarn only snapped on me once while sewing this together. Normally I'd advise against using plush yarn as like something for attaching pieces together, but sometimes I just like to risk it and see what happens, and obviously it backfired and broke on me, but the end result looks pretty good, so I'm very happy with that regardless. But I'm going to continue sewing pieces together, taking photos, and I'm just going to meet you all at the end because you guys don't need to see a giant montage of me slowly putting a doll together, do you? I mean, unless you really want to. I'll put in some clips. How about I do that? I'll do some clips. My fancy setup. And then we have it, the featured buddy of the pattern. So this is what it looks like all sewn together, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. I almost forgot the tongue. I realized right at the end of taking all those photos and everything that I was like, something's missing. I was like, oh my god, the tongue. I have not put that in anything. So I just quickly had to like crochet that and get it sewn on, but it's all there now and I've got the photos taken and it's all prepared to put in the pattern. So now what I need to do is actually write the pattern up, get it advertised out to my testers or out to anyone who would be testing for me. So there'll be 2 priority testers from my Patreon and then out to the wider world for whoever is going to test for me, and I'm going to bring you guys on that journey as well. So I will be making another chameleon as I am doing the pattern test. I like to join in on the pattern test, so it's not just like I'm sending out the pattern out to everyone and being like, have fun. I want to actually be enjoying and also testing the pattern myself alongside my testers and make it like a whole community vibe. So I'm going to be doing that. I think I'm going to make either a pan pride chameleon or maybe the gay male flag. I haven't done anything like that in a long time. So I'm very excited to get this out for testing, very excited to see what the reception is, and just excited to see how it all comes together. So let's do it. Hello, we are back. So I finished doing all the sewing together with the pattern, and then it took me about like 2 hours to actually write the pattern up properly. So whenever I send out like the application form for testing, I normally give myself like a 2-day period to actually write the pattern up. Like I have all the notes and everything. It's just applying them into my pattern layout and then just making sure that it all flows together. But for this one, because the sweater of the chameleon is so, what's the word? It's so like, you can just change it up for whatever pride flag you want, but it also changes how the pattern runs with where you start the sweater or not. So I needed to like clarify that and give a guide on how people can adjust the pattern to any kind of pride sweater that they'd like. So It took me a while to actually write out some examples and everything, but I got it all done and it's all written up and it's all ready to go. And I just selected all my testers from the past 2 days of applications, and there was over 100 people, which is what I tend to get for a lot of my pattern tests, which I'm very thankful for, that there's always like such a support for everyone to do my patterns. But then that means I have to actually run through all these applications and make sure I pick the right people. Now, when I'm picking the right people, if people haven't applied for my pattern test before, I always want to have like a range of people. So I always have like at least 2 who are from my Patreon, who are like that's a part of being my Patreon, is that I really want to prioritize people in my community who have been supporters of me for a long time. And I always like rotate through people on there, so everyone in my Patreon will get a turn eventually at one of my pattern tests if they want to. Like, they don't have to, but if they want to. And then I always make sure that I have a range of people, from people who've been crocheting for less than 6 months all the way up to 3+ years, because I want to make sure that there's like a range of experience levels in my patterns as well. And then I always put in like a funny question at the end, or like something interesting. For this one here, because it is like a pride pattern, I want to make sure that I was including people who like are, I guess, aware of the pride community or the rainbow community and supporters of it. So I asked them to tell me one of their favorite like rainbow crocheters and things. And so it was more or less like a test to see who out there knows these things about other creators and who out there is supporting these other rainbow creators, because that's the kind of people I want to have testing this pattern in particular. I want supporters of the rainbow community, so that was a big thing. So there was a few people out there being like, I'm not too sure, and I'm like, no, like I need to be very strict on this one. I was like, I want to have a group of people who are proud supporters of people in the rainbow community and just go with that. So that was one of the criteria, and then from that I went and found people's like Instagrams, and I saw how they took pictures and whether they can follow instructions and things. And so finally got my little group, and I just contacted them all now, so they're all actually messaging here in the group chat. And now I'm about to email out everyone else who applied for the test just to say thank you for applying, because I do appreciate it. And I always send like a little discount code out to everyone who applied, just as like a thank you for applying, because that's a nice thing to do, I think. Anyway, so now that it's started, I guess I get to wait. I get to make my own other chameleon as well alongside everyone, because I want to be included in this pattern test, and I can't wait to see what everyone makes with their ones. So right now they're all putting in the chat what flags they all want to make for their chameleons, and I'm very excited to see what they're going to do. So let's go do that. Let's go crochet, finally. Less editing and designing and actually just crocheting for the fun of it. Hello, we are back after a few days, a couple of weeks. I can't actually remember the time frame of pattern testing, and I now just have a mustache. I accidentally shaved a chunk out of my beard, and I decided I would just kind of roll with it until it grows back. So welcome to mustache Zaddy at the moment. Let's just continue. We have finished the pattern testing. My pattern testers have been absolutely amazing. They've sent through so many good notes. The original way that I was writing out the sweater, they enjoyed. It was fine and things, but they all came together to give an idea about creating like a chart for the sweater. And so now I've implemented that in the pattern, and it is so much easier to follow. It is just, it's a dream. So the pattern is in its final draft. I've sent it all to my pattern testers. They've sent through their pattern tester photos and the last notes and things like that. So it's all ready to go out tomorrow, which is very exciting. And I just can't wait to get it out there for you all to enjoy. And because I have all my pattern tester photos, I thought it'd be nice just to like show them off on the YouTube vlog as well, because why not? And I can tell you about which flags my pattern testers went for and things like that. So let's just show them off, because they're all amazing and I love everyone. So first off, we've got Half Crochet. They made a beautiful NB chameleon, which I absolutely love. I also have a NB chameleon in the works. I just need to finish sewing it all together, stuffing, all that kind of jazz. We've got Nicole's Creative Crochet and Jazzy B Crochet both went for the classic pride sweater, which is beautiful. We've got 1 Cent Crochet, Penny. She made the lesbian pride flag chameleon. We have Crochet by Kylie Co, who wanted to make the trans flag chameleon, which is the one I also have somewhere around here. Here it is. God, they're just cute. This is my favorite like color combination for any pride flag. I just absolutely adore it. The baby pink, the baby blue, the white. Crochet by Kylie Co also did hers with a smaller yarn, so not like the parfait chunkies that I always use for all my creations. And I love seeing my plushies being put into a smaller yarn size, so I was very happy to see this. as well as it being in the trans flag colors, so yay. We also have Drooby Zoo went for a different style. They also went for a smaller yarn, but I can't remember which yarn store it is, but I think it's Joanne. They released like a line of different rainbow colored yarns, which were like essentially a pride collection, but they weren't being it was like a very covert pride collection. So all the different colorways are assigned to different pride flags, and Drew was like, I'm gonna make a bunch of chameleons in these colors. And so he went for the classic rainbow chameleon first, which he also did his like own take on the eyes. It's very, very slightly different. It's just that he didn't use like a safety eye, so he just went for like a full white eye and then put a little black line in them, and it looks very, very cool. He also like extended the tongues and put a little fly on them because Drew is a very, very creative artist, and it's cool to see. He's also made a trans flag chameleon in that yarn as well, and I think he's going to be working on more. I can't quite remember. You should go check out his Instagram just in case. We also have 2 bi pride flags here, Hooks and Healers. If you want to know Annie and her YouTube channel, go check it out. Also, Blissful Yarn Creations made one of these as well. And then last but not least, we have Bumby Works making the Adrogen? I don't know how to pronounce this word, flag, which was not one of the ones that's actually listed in my pattern on the chart of all the available flags. At the end of the pattern, there is instructions on how you can customize your chameleon to have any of the pride flags, or even like a country's flag or something like that. It teaches you how to make the sweater and how to adjust accordingly. So that's pretty cool. So a huge thank you to all my pattern testers. I love what you've done with my chameleon pattern, and I'm just so excited to release this pattern out to the world and just see what everyone creates. As I was saying, alongside the pattern testers, I also made my own one. I wanted to pick another pride flag that wasn't selected by my testers, so I went for the asexual chameleon. So I've got this lovely little cutie here, and I'm just obsessed with this face. Like, you may have seen me uploading this face all over the place on all my different social medias, just doing like a zoom in like this. I might even make this like the still of this video, like me in the background and then the chameleon's face up ahead. I think I can do this. I'm obsessed with my own creation, and I think that's a healthy obsession. Just like, it's so stupid. Like, you can see one here, and up in the background, and they're all just like, this pattern is so funny. I love it. Anyway, I am so excited to get this pattern out to you all. I just need to create the listings now, and then by the next time you see me, this pattern will be released. So, woohoo! Very, very exciting. I can't wait to release it all to you, and I just want to say thank you for hanging out with me on this little pattern testing vlog. I hope you enjoyed this kind of content. It was very new for me just to like essentially track myself and record myself working on the pattern tester process. I don't know if this is how other pattern tests are played out, but this is how I do it, so maybe it's some insights for other designers out there, maybe it's insights for other people wanting to pattern test and things. I don't know, I just hope you enjoyed it. If you do enjoy this kind of content, don't forget to give me a like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video as well. But for now, I'm gonna go finish creating this little NB chameleon of mine, and then I'm going to finish writing the listings, and then we are good to go, and I will see you all at the finish line of the pattern test, of the pattern release. Yay! And yeah, I think that's all I have to say for now. I will see you there. Hello, we are back. I don't really know where I was supposed to head off from that last clip. I just kind of was like, you know what, I'll jump on pattern release day and be like, yay, this is where we're up to. But there's really nothing new to update you on. I just created the listings. I've created a bunch of social media posts. Some are scheduled, some are just ready to go out. I need to do my pattern tester shout outs. I need to make a pattern tester video, but I guess you'll just all see that when it's all being posted across the different social medias. So that's that. I think I'm just gonna spend the day just like crafting up this last little NB chameleon and creating a little video for that. I know I said that I was doing it yesterday, but I didn't do it. So I'll do that today. I'll create a little video so I can post that over the week as well. And I think that's it. I think that's literally all I have to add. Not really that much more, so thank you all for joining me on this little pattern testing journey. I hope you enjoyed this kind of content. I will be back with another vlog sometime soon. I've been recording like 3 vlogs at once, so my timeline of different videos has been absolute hectic chaosness. So I will get more vlogs out to you guys soon. You can tell I'm just kind of trailing off trying to think about what else I needed to say, but all in all, I just want to say a huge thank you for joining me on this little journey. A huge thank you to everyone in my Patreon. You guys are amazing. None of this would be a success without you guys, and I honestly don't know how to thank you enough. Oh my god, the pattern. The pattern for the Little Chameleon Buddy, aka the Pride Chameleon, is now available to everyone on my Patreon who are part of the Buddies tiers, so go get your discount code just to go download that directly from my website and go enjoy creating a little Pride Chameleon just in time for June. That's all. I just completely lost all my speech patterns. I'm just doing my best here, folks. I'm only halfway through my morning coffee, so... So let's just enjoy this chaotic end of the video, and I will see you all on the next. Thank you for joining me on today's vlog. Okay, I'm just gonna go. Bye, everyone. I love you all. See ya.